Is this app unfair?
Black women calling out the dating app Hinge for putting their profiles at the bottom of the dating pool. It led some of them to change their settings as white women in the app.
Like, it was literally night and day.
And suddenly the caliber of men changed.
Choose from doctors, executives, lawyers, all in their timeline.
So do I think Hinge is racist towards black women? No. I do not think Hinge is racist towards black women at all. And the reason why I feel this way is because I've personally used Hinge myself. Never been really big into dating apps, but I had to start using it during COVID. And the thing I noticed is that, yeah, you do get a lot more, because I had my settings set to open to all. You do see a lot more white women than you do black women. But the thing about it is, statistically, there is a lot more white women than there are black women. In the United States is 12% black people, so that's men and women together. And then in terms of white people in the United States, it's 71%. So statistically speaking, it's always going to be more white people you're going to see on the app, depending on the location though. So like if you're in Atlanta, yeah, you're probably going to see a lot more black women on Hinge than you do white women. But, you know, across the US, there's a higher chance you're going to see a lot more white people.
So I was watching the Shade Room video on this, right?
Yeah.
And you know how we do now. As I watched it back the second time, I was scrolling through the comments to see what people's thoughts were about it, just out of curiosity. And there was one comment that I saw. I was like, this is interesting. I don't know if I necessarily agree with the perspective 100%, but I want to see what you guys think, all you decision makers out there. So let me read it to you, and then you can give me your take in the comments about whether or not you agree, disagree, indifferent, whatever. So this commenter at capital KL, well, capital letters, KL-II6DT. I don't know if this is a man or woman. They say, I'm assuming it's a man, which after I read it. I'm so sick of this victim mentality. The algorithm doesn't hate black women. The algorithm doesn't have any opinion or preferences. People, all caps, are showing that they don't prefer black women, and the algorithm is the way that is expressed. It's a small distinction, but it's important, because if the internet is just against you, there's no reason to be self-reflective. Why don't people like us why don't people like us is the question y'all should be asking. And the reason it stuck out to me is because he mentioned the algorithm, which I was like, okay, he makes a point, or he or she makes a point that the algorithm is emotionless. It doesn't care what you look like, who you are, what your background is, how much money you make, nothing. The algorithm is just going to feed you more of what you prefer.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, is it the case that Hinge is racist, or the creators of Hinge are racist, or that people using Hinge have taught their algorithm to exclude black women? And if so, why? It's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I'm thinking about it is, okay, because in the video, it sounds like all the black women wanted was better options with black men.
Right.
Yeah. So if they want options with all men, because majority of men, if majority of the U.S. is white, they're going to tend to lean towards white women.
Of course.
Just statistically, most races end up staying with other races.
The
in
same
terms
race.
of, the same race. In terms of black people, are there black men that have a preference for other women that are black? Yes. So those are men that would not be available to you anyway. So I don't see, like, there's a certain part where women in this video are talking about, like, oh, I'm going to change my ethnicity to white to get more options. Well, technically, you're not really getting more options if they wouldn't swipe on you anyway. Because I know personally, like, if there was a setting and they didn't want black, because you can literally change on Hinge. There's a setting that says, like, okay, what do you like? Mm-hmm. And then it says it's a deal breaker. You could say, oh, I like black women. I like white women. Is it a deal breaker? Yes. Is it a deal breaker? No. So if it's a deal breaker, that means that's pretty much all they're going to show you, because it's an app. And their end goal is to make money off of users.
Right.
So they're trying to show people what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I wouldn't want to personally be in a pool full of women that didn't find me attractive.
Right.
It wouldn't be beneficial.
Exactly. And that's, I think, what the commenter was, the point they were trying to make, is because I think the argument that the black women are making on this topic is that Hinge is purposely not showing them to people.
Yeah.
But is it that, or is it what we're saying mostly, where it's the algorithm is showing
Yeah, it's showing
people what
preference.
they want?
Yeah, it's preference, and then it's also statistics too.
Yeah,
If there's more white people in the area, they're gonna keep showing. Like, for example, if I were to go to maybe somewhere, maybe if I were to go to Utah, right? I'm probably not gonna show up that much if I go on Utah. A lot of black guys aren't gonna show up if you go on Utah. It's probably gonna be mostly white people because Utah's mostly white people. Are there other races? Absolutely, but is it overwhelmingly white people? Yes. So it doesn't mean that it's racist. And I do like the fact that she made that statement that, like, oh, I don't want to, there's no point in me changing it. But
I'm not gonna do that. If I do, these are men that are seeking and have a preference for white women.
then the problem I had is then when she kind of recants it later, and she's like, okay, I was able to match with a black guy that, like, I found attractive. And then she proceeds to ask the black guy, like, oh, what's your preference? I'm like, see, you just ruined it right now. Like, he's obviously matching with you, so he obviously finds you attractive. Like, it's fine. But then she asked him, what'd she ask him? She said, what do you like?
Messaged the men who I matched with, and I said, what's your preference? What did you put as your preference? Because I don't want to be with no man who only prefers white women.
Like, what is your preference? Your preference, white people, black people? Like, what? Like,
I
I
think
don't
she
know.
directly asked him if he likes black women.
Yeah, if he matched with you, he does like black women. I don't know. To me, when I said that, I was like, see, like, and I'm not talking about all black women. I'm just gonna talk about her for this thing, where she said that she had a lot of bad interactions with black men. At a certain part, I think it might be her, just because of why would you ask somebody a question like that? Like, that to me is like, you're kind of asking for an argument rather than just getting to know them. Like, you match with him, he finds you attractive, cool. Set up a date. Set up where you guys can talk to each other, know more about each other. But to sit there and just like, oh, am I really what you like? I don't want to be with you if you don't. Like, that's just doing too much.
I agree with you. I do agree with you.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. I think the reason she did that is because she's like, okay, well, I didn't see you before I changed my setting to being white. So.
Oh, so you're thinking she's trying to, it's more of a discovery question. Like, she's trying to, I guess it's the way that she kind of said it. She kind of made it seem like, oh, like,
Yeah. But you're right, though. Like, if he swiped on you, obviously, even if you're not his preference, most of the time, clearly he thought you were attractive.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the thing about dudes, right? Because a lot of guys, because I know, okay, so I hang out with a lot of different guys from different ethnicities, right? There are guys from different ethnicities that straight up told me that they would not date a black woman.
Yeah.
But when we go out, there are black women they see, they're like, oh, I'll date her, she's cute.
Yeah.
She's cool. That's the thing about guys. Like, guys, I really feel like no guy really has a particular type in terms of race. I just think that once you see someone that you like, you go for it. It's just that, people have patterns, and I think a lot of people have patterns of what they tend to like. So,
again, I agree with you, but I also want to say I think that people do most of the time have types, but it doesn't mean they're not going to deviate from it. I won't say my own examples. I'll say an example of someone I know. He's a clean-cut black guy.
Yeah.
Okay? Wears suits, all this stuff. And he was saying that he's dated a lot of women from other ethnicities, not just white. Asian, Indian, which is technically Asian, whatever. And he said that he had a lot of times where the girls would tell him, oh, I don't normally date black men, but you're different.
yeah.
So it's like, I think that maybe a man might prefer a white woman,
Yeah.
but he might meet a woman that's not white and be like, oh, I'll give it a chance. I like her. She's cute. She's pretty, whatever. And then, it's cool. It happens.
Yeah.
But see, that happens most of the time offline. You might be, you know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's a good point.
Online, it's kind of forcing you. You're like, okay, yeah, I want this. Yeah. You kind of have to think, oh, I like this.
I
this,
mean, online is 90% looks.
It's nice.
And in terms of dating, like, a lot of things that women find attractive about men is offline.
Yes.
Like, how he walks, how he smells, how he talks, all this stuff. Guys are just purely visual. But I'm sure, like, if you were to meet the same girl in public and she was, like, chill and cool, it probably wouldn't be an issue. I mean, it's just part of online dating. Listen, online dating is still relatively new.
Yeah.
And now it's become, like, the main source that people meet each other on is online dating. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of growing pains that's going to come with this that people are not going to know, and, like, things that people have to figure out. But ultimately, I don't think that it hinges it, like, especially out of all the dating apps. And this is me personally. I've never really been a dating app person, so I hate going on dating apps. But if you're really trying to genuinely find someone, I think Hinge is probably the best option because the couples that I've met have been from like that did online dating, that stayed together for a decent amount of time, have been off of Hinge. Everybody else I know that have used other apps like Bumble and Tinder, it's essentially just been using it for hooking up. And then there's a couple other ones. But there's also another thing. There's also an app called Black. We're literally are black.
Oh yeah, I was about to say that.
We're black.
Don't type that in. You might get to the wrong app. So, but go ahead.
I don't know what you're talking about. But there's an app called Black. There's nothing but black people. So if that's what you want, there's other. Don't
forget
apps.
the ed at the end of that one. There's the app called Black. Continue.
Okay, I don't know. I just know that I thought the app was BLK. Okay, whatever.
I'm joking, man. You know I'm joking.
Okay, whatever. So,
you don't pretend. Y'all all know what I'm talking about. I mean, you watched it. You know what it is. You've seen TV shows and stuff. Continue.
I've never seen that on TV. But anyway, we can tell what you do on your spare time.
Oh no. Ain't no way.
But there's apps that literally are meant for different things. For example, one of my friends is Muslim. There's a Muslim app.
Oh yeah.
There's an app if you want to date just purely people of Latin descent. It's called Chispa. Chispa. My bad. That's what it's called. Chispa. So I mean, there's different apps besides Hinge that can get you what you want if that's purely what you want.
Bro, it's almost like a joke nowadays. There's a dating app for every. It's not even ethnicity at this point. Farmers only. There's an app for farmers.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Christian
exactly. So
yeah,
I'm pretty sure you can find a dating app for almost any preference.
But you know the best way to find someone? Walk outside your house.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
with that
come on, people. Like, we're getting to a point where we're blaming apps now. Like, just walk out, meet people, go places that people are at. And I can understand, because for a lot of women, they wait for the guy to approach them. But I think in this current climate, a lot of guys really thinking about approaching people. So what I would say, like, if I had what I would tell my sister, well, my sister's married, but what I would tell like a niece or a cousin or another sister, what I would particularly say is that just make yourself available, look friendly, don't have a resting bitch face. If you have a resting bitch face, no guy wants to walk up to you. If you're in your group of your friends, a lot of guys aren't going to walk up to you. So I would just say look friendly, look presentable, go places that dudes are at, don't go to the club. The club is the worst place to meet people for both men and women. Well, if you're a woman, you want to get free drinks, go to the club. But yeah, just go to groups, go to friends groups. I think friend groups are a great way for women to meet men because they're already kind of pre-vetted. People hang out with each other. They're less likely to get screwed over just because you guys all hang out. It's really hard for you to be a terrible person if you see if you hang out in the same group because then you get kicked out of the friend group.
For lack of better words, warm leads.
Yeah.
It's much better than cold approach, I think is what they called it.
Yeah.
But I also don't think there's anything wrong with, no. There are things that need to be fixed. But I don't think there's anything wrong with finding someone online.
I don't think there's anything wrong with finding someone online. I just think because it's still relatively new, there's going to be a lot of issues with it. For example, there's this one trend that's going on online. It's like 6'5", finance, blue eyes or something like that. Yeah. Like, guys, that's not a lot of guys in America. Like, so if that's what you're looking for, guys that are over a particular height, that number is going to be small by itself.
Yeah. No, I agree. Because we just said it's all physical in online dating now.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, is the only thing I'd say needs to somehow be not fixed. There's nothing wrong with that. You have your preference. It's more so, like how we mentioned before, like in real life dating, there's a lot to it. Like you said, there's pheromones, there's smell, there's vibe, there's humor.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you can't capture online. So if there's a way, maybe once virtual reality comes, maybe that'll change it. I'm just trying to think of how, because right now online dating is almost like it's like 2D.
Yeah.
It's like 2D or 1D, but once you get to the 3D or
yeah,
then I think it'll be a lot better.
What I also think is a big factor is that location, because even even if you're not physically there, like when you online date, it goes within your radius, right? You can set your radius higher,
Yeah.
but most people aren't gonna be looking for someone that's like 200 miles away, 100 miles. Like, for example, when I was in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
I got less matches than when I was in Atlanta, when I was in Houston, when I was in. I mean, but that it goes to what I was saying is location.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I go to Florida, I don't have an issue in it. Like, it, you know.
That's facts.
And not only that, but then your matches look different. The matches I got in Pennsylvania look different than the matches I got when I was in Florida.
But even in real life, dude, unless you're a jet setter, it's the same thing. Most people live within a certain radius, and they don't step out of that radius too often. So you're still gonna have that pool to choose from, for the most part. Maybe a friend's friend comes in town or something, but you're gonna meet. If you live in Charlotte, you're probably gonna meet somebody and date them from Charlotte. Most likely.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're really serious about meeting someone, and that's what matters to you. You want what you want. I want a guy with a great job. I want a guy who's a certain.
Oh, okay.
You have to put yourself in that area and being.
Oh.
And if you're specifically looking for a black person, they're a little part of America. A lot of people think that there are black people all around America, and there are black people all around America, but just not in large amounts. A lot of black people normally are around the South is where you'll find like a lot of us. Other than that, we're around like pockets in America. So, I mean, your options are naturally going to be lower, guys. And I'm pretty sure that there's statistically proven that there are more black women than there are men, which is natural. There's normally more women than men in America. There's normally more women than men, period. So, yeah, I mean, if you really want it, it's going to boil down to location. It's going to boil down to location, going out, meeting people. Yeah, I mean, listen, who you date, who you marry, who you have kids with is a big part of your life. I think people really underestimate that, and I think a lot of people will go to school. They'll put all their effort into school. They'll put all their effort into business. They'll put all their effort into everything but dating, and then wonder why their dating doesn't end up great. And that's not just black women. That goes for everybody across the board. If you want the best outcome with anything, you got to put effort into it. And just solely relying on an app is just, I mean, I don't think that's a good plan for success.
In a lot of other areas, but kind of fall short when it comes to intentionally dating.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very, and maybe sometimes they're overly intentional. Maybe, people want a certain type of person, and it's like, okay, you can want all these things, but sometimes you got to whittle that list down and make the choice that makes the most sense long term, which I think people do after a while, I guess. But my point is that when it comes to dating apps, is a lot of times I think one of the issues could be that people are putting in all the things they really, really want, and then it's going to be hard to find that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wish list.
It's a wish list. So,
yeah.
That's part of it too. There's a lot. Like I said, dating apps can definitely use some improvement, and we'll see if that happens. So, do I think that Hinge is racist or that they're purposely hiding black women from the algorithm? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I would say no. All right. So, do you guys think it's a good decision to base your dating on dating sites, or do you think it's a bad decision? Leave a like or comment. What do you think? Good decision, bad decision? I'm gonna say it's a bad decision.
What's your question?
Do you think it's a good decision to leave most of your dating to dating sites?
Bad decision.
Bad decision. Okay. All right, guys. This has been Bad Decisions. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay off those dating sites.